Hey guys, so let's talk about iteration statements. The iteration statements repeat a block of code while a specified condition is true. Let's start with the for loop. A for loop allows to repeat statements for a specified number of times. Let's say that, for example, you want to spawn 3 enemies at the start of your game. You can use a for loop to repeat the spawn instruction instead of having to write it 3 different times. This is the actual syntax of the for loop. Let's see how it works. First, we have the initialization section. Here we declare a new integer variable to use inside the loop with its initial value. It runs one time at the beginning of the loop. Then we have the termination section. It defines the condition of the loop. The loop runs while the condition is true. When it returns false, the loop terminates. The condition uses a variable created in the initialization section. So the variable starts at 0 and the loop runs while its value is less than 3. And at the end we have the increment section. Here the variable value is incremented by 1 at the end of each loop iteration. So, by incrementing the variable value on each iteration, the value will reach a point where the condition is no longer true and the loop stops. If the value starts at 0 and runs while it's less than 3, it means the loop will run 3 times. We can use a for loop to iterate through an array and perform operations on each of its elements. Let's suppose we want to iterate through this course list and do something with each value. Let's see how this would work. The loop starts with initialization. It declares a new variable with an initial value of 0. Then it checks a condition defined in the termination code. The variable, which is 0, is less than the array's length. So the loop begins. On the first iteration, we get the first element of the array and do something with it. Please note that we access the element using the variable as the array index. Since the variable is equal to 0, it returns the first element of the array. Then it reaches the end of the loop and the increment runs. It increases the value of the initialization variable to 1. Then it goes back to the beginning and checks again the condition. The variable is now equal to 1. It is still less than the array's length, so the loop begins one more time. It uses the second element of the array and increments the variable. Then it goes back to the beginning and checks the condition once again. Since the variable is still less than the array's length, the loop continues. Then it uses the last element of the array, the variable increases to 3, and starts from the beginning once again. But now the variable is equal to the array's length. The condition is no longer true and the loop stops. When the loop stops, the execution continues on the next line after the for block. When iterating over arrays or collections, we can use the Foreach statement. The Foreach statement is a cleaner style of the for loop. To use a Foreach statement, we type Foreach, and between parentheses declare a variable of the same type of the array. We call it the loop variable. Then we add the keyword in and specify the array we want to use. The Foreach will run for each variable of type integer in the scores array. On each iteration, instead of using the index, the loop variable has a reference to the element of the array.